And welcome, boys and girls, to another Saturday spinning edition of the Three Man Week Best Bets Show. Two of us in costume gym, recording from a remote satellite-like location. We're in the Arctic gym, North Pole-ish. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Chautauqua, Wisconsin, up north with a couple
Yes.
pals. Really experiencing the cold. Supposed to be, I mean, I know cold snaps hit in Chicago too, but a high of -8 tomorrow.
Ooh, it's
Mm.
balmy.
You jumping in the lake doing the
No, not with
yeah
the
the
recent
plunge?
sickness I have been experiencing, but still ready to talk ball, even without my spinny hat.
Yeah, let's do it. Kai, takeaways from the weekend, last night slash week, if you have any. My takeaway is a lot of games to get to, so I'm gonna be like
Yeah,
the
I mean,
auctioneer and just get rapid fired into this sucker. But go ahead. I know you have some thoughts.
no, I don't really have any takes, Matthew. Congrats to UCLA for getting off the schneid. That's really all I need to say. Smoked Iowa, so perhaps Mick Cronin is finally back. We'll see.
And Matt, your Hoosiers. How about your Hoosiers? They won a road game.
Wow. Ohio State, I think that's the lesson is Ohio State just not a very unserious operation, I think, this season. Hey, am I too loud, by the way? Let me know if my volume
I
is
think
coming
you're
out hot,
okay
It's
hot.
it's a little
personally, but
hurting the speaker a
Okay.
little bit.
I just dropped the volume a little bit, so let me know if it gets any worse. Hey, let's talk hoop. SEC action. We'll kick it off with Alabama at Kentucky. Hi. I mean, two pro level operations here. Some injuries concern, obviously, Lamont Butler for Kentucky. He matters a lot, but if he is playing today, the Cats laying 3 is where I leaned. I mean, the over's 178. I don't know how you can bet an over that's like 180. It just doesn't feel
yeah,
good with me. But you can certainly see how this game finishes 100 to 95 or something with these
I
offenses.
I think it touched 180. I believe it's down to like 177,
Yeah,
177 and a half.
179 at some places right now. Yeah.
I don't know how you can like as a better, I'm not sure you can take the over in that one. I understand it's likely to play in the 90s. I just the whatever the bell curve is of probability, I just don't see it. Anyways, Lamont Butler, yeah, obviously he's the huge question mark. I think I guess we're toss up if he's playing or not. His status is huge. It tanks Kentucky's backcourt if he's out. Should be a ton of possessions. Again, should be a ton of points. I still think the total's a little bit nuts. I can't take the over. I don't really think either team can stop the other team. I guess that's another point for the over. The nonstop transition, tons of three balls flying. It's going to be really fun to watch. Kentucky -2 was actually a bet I was going to place. Then I kind of heard about the Butler stuff and I held off. I think they're up to 2.5 most places now. I just think they get it done. These teams to me, Jim, are equal on neutral and really full strength. Eye test, I still like Kentucky a little bit better.
Yeah, especially this version of Alabama just hasn't fully sorted out who it is. It's not the guns blazing, fire away from deep offense that you typically see from Nate Oates. They don't have the shooting, especially in the front court. Their forwards are all shooting like 22% from three, and they still somehow have the green light. That really negates the offense, the effectiveness of that. But if you're looking at the spot, you've got Alabama coming off a home loss. You've got Kentucky kind of rolling. The buy low, sell high would definitely push you towards the tide. And I actually considered betting Alabama
Yeah.
for that reason. But I think, Matt, there's a little bit of tax there. I'm with Kai. I think these teams are pretty close to even on a neutral. So I'd like to be getting 3.5 for a pretty solid home court at Rupp instead of just 2.5. So because I'm not getting that full possession, I'm going to sit this one out.
Yeah, just noting 19 and 13 against the spread SEC home teams this year. So it's been tough for
That's in league
uh,
play.
that's in league play only. Yes, I
Okay.
may be missing a game or two, but I think that's directionally close. I mean, the home court has been strong in this league from start to finish. I think there's no reason to believe it's going to all of a sudden dissipate today. I mean, again, just I think it's baked in the line now. There's like no missing piece there. Speaking of good home courts, Kai, or I guess questionably, um, debatably big home courts, West Coast Big Ten schools, Oregon hosting Purdue. The Boilers have been on an absolute tear. We just saw Mick Cronin get off his soapbox describing the comparing the West to East versus East to West travel partners in the Big Ten, saying that all the East to West teams have it easy. It's way harder to go West to East.
Oh
He's
my
not
god.
entirely wrong, by the way. However, if you buy into that,
Oh,
here is Purdue coming on the second
Everyone
ranked road.
complains about their
Okay.
schedule.
what?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Wow. We joined the Big Ten. What? What's
yeah.
this critique? Is that really a
Yeah, I mean,
complaint?
yeah, I don't, whatever. Anyway, I mean, again, Mick should have probably Mick joined the school before they joined the Big Ten, but he joined the kind of
Yeah.
unserious operation there. So I don't know. Anyway, Jimbo, any lean to this one? I mean, I guess I was tempted to back Oregon. I know they've been kind of playing with fire here. Won two close ones on the road last weekend. I don't know. Is Purdue just that good right now? I mean, they've been kind of them Michigan State have been kind of those Big Ten teams surging beneath Illinois hype, it seems.
Jim?
Jim is maybe frozen. Kai, your thoughts?
Okay, my thoughts are Jim had a curious face.
I lost audio. I couldn't hear
Okay.
myself, or I couldn't hear you guys for a second, but we're back.
We're not saying anything important. Just talk.
I can go ahead and start here, Matthew.
Please do.
Yes, I've been way more impressed with Purdue. Again, I say it all the time with Oregon. I don't like how they're just kind of squeaking by every game. The last 3 games, Maryland by 4, Ohio State by 2, Penn State by 1. That was right after a 30-point beatdown at the hands of Illinois. Purdue hasn't played the toughest schedule, in the Big Ten at least, but they're humming right now. They have plenty of size and versatility, I think, to match up with Biddle, Oregon's bigs. I do think TKR is going to have a little bit of a tougher time scoring in the post in this one against Biddle and co. But it's Braden Smith, the veteran point guard, arguably the best in the country this season against the rising stud sophomore Shellstad. That's Edge Smith right now. Purdue has so much shooting. It's tough to snuff them all out on the perimeter and still defend the block. I think it's tough for Oregon to do. And watch Oregon's ball handling. Purdue, Jim, number 1 in the league in turnover rate this season defensively. I lean the Boilers. I wish I was getting a little bit more. 2.5's pushing it for me. Boy, if it gets over 3, I'm taking the Purdue Boilers.
Yeah, line's a little like that Alabama-Kentucky game where you expect them maybe to be closer to even on neutral, but actually I think Alabama and Kentucky are closer to even than these two. Purdue's been just significantly more impressive. Oregon, Kai, you mentioned them getting by in close games. They've been losing in all of those games. They come back in the final 3 minutes and sneak by. It's not like they controlled the game and then won by a small margin. And Purdue's been rolling teams. Since they changed their starting lineup, they put CJ Cox and Caleb First into the lineup. They look fantastic. I would definitely lean towards Purdue here. I'm not overly scared of the into the woods environment out in Eugene, Matthew.
Yeah, I know we've been kind of throwing shade at the West Coast home court arena. I mean, Oregon's got a pretty good atmosphere, but even against, you saw it early in the year, I didn't think that was like crazy awesome. I actually do lean Oregon. I don't want to lay 2.5. I feel like if it was like 2 or 1 or something, but yeah, it's all of a sudden bet on Oregon to actually cover even just a field goal against a team as hot as Purdue. I just doesn't survive with me. Again, they've been playing with fire.
So Matt, would you say if you're betting Oregon, go money line? Does that make more sense?
Yeah,
like the minus 140,
assuming they're on par with the 2.5. Yeah, I guess I would lean that way. Early start, it doesn't. Again, it's not going to affect Purdue. It's not going to affect the team going east to west at all. Again, they've already been in that time zone. Coming off the Washington second half demolition. All right, we're going to go down to altitude, Kai, Lubbock, where Texas Tech hosting Arizona. The kind of surging Wildcats got back off the mat after a 5-5 start. JT Toppin, we've seen what he means, what this front court can look like when fully healthy. They just really haven't been healthy all year. Some defensive leaky issues for the Raiders, Kai. McCaslin up in arms about it. They've been better in spots, but not consistently good defensively. What's your take on this handicap here?
Intriguing. Arizona rolling 5-0 in the Big 12. And then Tech, man, you missed a golden opportunity losing to Iowa State in overtime. They're kind of in a bad place resume-wise. They look great in analytics right now, top 20 in KenPom, but they need this game for their resume. I would call this a must-win for Texas Tech. I do think it's their game. They have a big glass edge with Toppin and Federico. That's the number 1 offensive rebounding rate in the Big 12 against number 11 defensive rebounding rate in Arizona. And I do think Arizona's defense has been a bit fortunate in league play. They've allowed a lot of three-point attempts in the Big 12, and yet number 2 in three-point percentage defense. And Texas Tech can shoot. They can really shoot. Not their first choice to get up a bunch of threes, but they do have a lot of shooters on the perimeter. I don't think Arizona's Big 12 defense is sustainable. I don't think Arizona's three-point percentage, Jim, on the offensive end is sustainable on the other end. I can see Caleb Love getting a little shot happy against this no-middle scheme, maybe shoot them out of it a bit. I do lean towards Texas Tech.
Yeah, I'm going to lay it with Texas Tech. I'll throw best bet in here, -4.
Okay. Nice.
I wouldn't have done 4.5, but I'll take the 4. Again, this isn't a home run on my numbers, but I like the spot. And Matt, if we really zoom in on what Arizona's done in the Big 12, they did not cover against TCU, who I think is bad. They let TCU score 81. They did not cover against UCF. They let UCF score 80. They did blow out Baylor. Great. But then their road wins are at Cincinnati, who is circling the drain and in a kind of a complete mess right now, and then a revenge win against shorthanded West Virginia. So I'm not going to shower praise on where Arizona's at. And Texas Tech does feel like they're just this close to breaking through. I was glad they survived the midweek battle at K-State. They needed to, absolutely needed that. And I think they get the big home win that they almost got last Saturday, and now it sets up well for them. So I'll lay the -4 best bet Texas Tech here.
I agree. I just kind of like the McCaslin off the back install off the loss. And I know we're sort of yearning for the Texas Tech explosion, which I mean they have played to a pretty high number. It's not like they're like been underachieving or anything. But I do think they have a pretty scary high gear, like higher than Arizona even, especially at home at altitude. First time the Wildcats were going to that venue, I believe, in maybe forever or certainly a while. I didn't check that, but again, new conference affiliation, so new travels for a lot of these schools here. All right, last one here. Forget to chat mob. Jimbo, the Egg Bowl, Mississippi State hosting Mississippi. Chris Jans versus Chris Beard. We talked a lot about how the identity shift of both these teams has been interesting. Mississippi State barely balanced this season after kind of an offensive tilt last season. Ole Miss actually playing defense for once after playing disastrous defense under Chris Beard last year. Very head scratching development. Minus 5.5, 147 is the total. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Ole Miss was like 80th in defense after November. I want to say maybe Kevin Sweeney tweeted this, but since then they're fourth. Their defense has been absolutely outrageous. They've been forcing turnovers. The no middle has been working. Adams has got it fired up there. But Kai, holy spot tax. I mean, Ken Palm's got this three. You've got Mississippi State off the getting smacked loss at Auburn. Ole Miss off the big win at Alabama. I wanted to back the Bulldogs here, but I'm not laying 5.5 or 6. I'm just not in a rivalry game, even with a beneficial spot. If you had given me 3.5, 4, I might have done it, but that number is just kind of a beyond the pale for me.
I agree. Ole Miss has been awesome. Beard's back. Defense is back. It's a very veteran team. I think top 3 in the country in experience. It's a team of men. Mississippi State, they're tough too. Jan's no slouch. Back-to-back losses to Kentucky and Auburn, that doesn't really bother me. Those teams are 2 of the best in the country. And Mississippi State does have some of the best ball control in the country, and that is key against Ole Miss, a team that definitely turns you over. Again, Chris Beard's defense, it's back. The glass is also Mississippi State's friend, but Ole Miss, we've seen them be very tough, very strong. It's going to be a battle. Caleb Matthews, put him on Malik Dia, maybe? I think that's an intriguing matchup. I'm not sure they will. Maybe Dia would still have an advantage in the post, but he is such a tough matchup for most teams. The way he can, frankly, attack off the bounce and score in the post and shoot. He is really a unicorn type of player. But the spread's rich, man. You said it. 6 points, no way. Big rivalry. You could argue Ole Miss is even better than Mississippi State. It's not priced that way. I would stay away if you're looking to get involved with Miss State.
Yeah, stay away. I'm not. I think Ole Miss has been too good to lay 5.5. I think if there were like more evidence that they've been inconsistent or maybe like paper tigerish, then maybe I'd want to lay it here with Janes at home and kind of the homey spot SEC we talked about, but 5.5 is too rich. So sorry, boring breakdown. We have nothing more intriguing breakdowns. Hopefully, Jim.
Riley Kugel is probable, so getting him back is
I know I have my injury
matters,
up here,
but
I'm slacking.
I just it's still not enough for me to get over that 5.5.
DT. I don't think any one player, but he is. I mean, again, that's sort of why they've been so good. They brought those ceiling razors and they've been really good. Klugel's obviously one of those guys. All right, chat mob, who is the Za today?
I am your czar, Matthew. We'll start with a question from Patrick James, which is fun because my name is James Patrick. He wants to know if he should lay it with Irvine, Matthew, minus 15.5 against Cal Poly. I got to say, I think this is a decent spot. Cal Poly took them to overtime last game. I would imagine Irvine is paying attention to this one.
Yeah, I don't know how much we care about no Devin Tillis. Last game for Irvine.
He might be back.
Yeah, it was precautionary
today. I think he matters because if they do the rotations like how Turner wants to, they put like Loikton and then they kind of bring in Tillis to spell. So he always been awesome big in. So without Tillis, you kind of maybe have half the game where you're not as dominant at the rim, where they have a huge edge against Cal Poly, not a very big team. So I think that's a key factor. I agree, Jim. I think Irvine smacks him. Irvine's just a wagon right now. You have no reason to get in front of it. None.
Kai, you confessed that you bet 4 different MAC games on Thursday. So you are my MAC. Really? Look at you. Okay. Well, you're my MAC correspondent now. Toma 888 asking about Niagara at Manhattan. The Jaspers laying 2.
I took the Jaspers. I got a better price than 2. But yeah, I'm on Manhattan in this game. Niagara's been priced like one of the better MAC teams. Boy, I disagree with that.
Wallace is always solid, man. He's underrated. He's pretty good.
Again, tough league to bet, almost impossible, but I laid it with Manhattan. Yeah.
Wasn't impossible for you Thursday, so
maybe I'm starting to see the Metro Atlantic clearly. Knock on wood, he said. Famous last words.
The digital rain is starting to fall. You're reading the Matrix language now? Good.
Kai, not to get overly personnel here, but Fraser Roxburgh, who's like one of their better Shooters didn't play. I think they need him. I don't know, kind of small thing.
I don't
like
care.
a 1 point thing. Okay, I like John Gallagher. I'm with you.
Yep. Okay. Two questions from Drake Capel. First, Arizona State at Cincinnati. Bearcats laying 10.5, 11.5. I think this line is insane. That offense is so bad. How can you expect them to cover margin against a team that at least is semi-competent? ASU is off 3 straight losses, could be circling the drain themselves. But guys, I am taking Arizona State. I'm going to put them in a best bet, and I'm going to find what the best line out there. Wow, it's down to 10 pretty much across the board. There's a couple 10.5s. Will you guys give me 10.5 on a best bet?
Yes.
Yes.
Allowed.
Yes.
Okay. ASU 10.5, locking that one in. I think Cincinnati wins, but again, why should I expect that team that can't score to win by 15? Okay. Next from Drake. Kai, back to you. Bradley at Murray State. Big one in the Mo Valley. Basically around a pick last I saw. Yeah, pick 'em, Bradley at Murray State.
Yeah, I actually lean towards Murray on the gut in this one. But odds makers, good job. You made it pick. I thought I was going to get cute. I thought Bradley would be a favorite. So I stayed away. I think Murray State's got a great home court, and Missouri Valley coaches will tell you the same thing. They voted them as the best home court in the Valley. Staying away. Great spot for Murray. Yeah.
I bet. I took Murray.
Took Murray? Yeah.
I don't think Bradley's not that good this year. I mean, they're good. They're just not that good.
They just you just bet them last game, didn't you?
No, I didn't. But they beat Indiana State 1,000,000-0. So
yeah, no. Great stay away from Kai on that one.
All right, Matthew from from Steven, excuse me, over the Mountain West. UNLV headed to San Diego State. Viejas, the show. Aztecs laying 10.5 in San Diego. UNLV off a big win. What do you think?
Yeah, something about me just feels like this is a UNLV really random good effort. I know they just kind of showed that last game. I got that big win against Utah State at home. But I mean, Aztecs are really good. I just don't know if I trust them to cover 10 against a dangerous team that can play very, very to a high level, especially when you have the best player on the floor potentially in DJ Thomas. I like the Rebels. Lean
Okay.
Rebels.
All right. Steven in the chat does give me 10.5 on Arizona State. So good. All right, that is universally agreed on. Kai in the SoCon. Who boy, Western Carolina is terrible.
Really bad.
Really
yes.
bad. They are a home dog to UNC Greensboro today. Only 7 points. Is a touchdown enough?
I took Greensboro. I took Western Carolina against VMI. That looked good for a half, and then it didn't. I think Western Carolina is truly terrible. I've given in. Now, Greensboro was missing Ronald Polite as well as one other player last game. Even without those guys, I think Greensboro can win by double digits. So I laid it with Greensboro at 7.
I like the Catamounts.
Of course you do, Maddie.
Why do you
hold
Maddie?
Hold
tell
your
me
nose.
why. Tell me why.
I think they're 4-1 against the spread. No, sorry, 3-2 against the spread in conference play. I don't think that team's entirely not talented. I mean, they got 2 of the dudes back from last year's team that was really good. I know they're role players, and they got a couple of. This team shouldn't be this bad. That's my take. I think they really
I
bottomed out.
agree. And they lost by 20 to VMI, so I don't know.
Hey, VMI is good. I'm on VMI today. I think I'm riding the key that way.
I took Citadel.
Baby.
Interesting.
What? Oh, they're terrible. Oh, you got the wrong military. Your military
troops versus troops.
Terrible.
VMI can't beat
my
Citadel.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. I think Western Carolina should be better. It's just
I agree. I've lost a lot of money in Western Carolina. That's been the problem this year. Yeah.
All right, Matthew, super popular game in the chat. The Badgers going west to LA. Game is round to pick on 1 point spread either way. Wisconsin at USC. Let me get you the current line. USC laying 1.5.
It's a coin flip for me. There's no play here. I was going to look for the angle where Wisconsin just played at UCLA and now they're playing at USC. Like Michigan, we saw that spot being pretty well. It's pretty easy, right? The home court's not that substantial, but not the case. So they're actually making a true road trip after playing at home. Nothing for me here, Kai. USC's been playing better.
They've been playing better.
They have been scoring. Kai, huge one in the America East, where we typically think Vermont is the top of the table, but this year might be UMass Lowell, might be Bryant. Those two are squaring off today. UMass Lowell's getting 4.5 on the road at Bryant. What say you?
Best bet, UMass Lowell plus 4.5. Let's do it.
Boom.
I'm surprised the spread hasn't moved, to be honest. Yeah, Lowell plus 4.5. Best bet.
Can someone hire Pat Duquette, by the way? Why is he still at UMass Lowell?
Lowell seems like awesome when they're not just fighting the mental mountain that is playing Vermont.
Yeah.
So I just take them in any other game. And yeah, exactly. They just, I guess the NJIT win wasn't overly impressive, but they've had a full week off to prepare. And Bryant just played Thursday. So another little edge for your best bet there, Kai.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Matt, staying in that conference, um, who asked about it? Let me pull the name. John Mitchell asked about UMBC. They're at home against Maine. I know our guy Tanner in the Discord said he thought this was maybe a smash spot for UMBC. What do you think?
Yeah, again, the home teams that like these early starts. I know it's a weekend spot, but I guess I'll lean that way. I don't know. Maine's good, man. I just hate. My main bet against EV is negative. The last 2 years under Markwood, so I don't know if that means anything, but kind of one of those teams you just. It's like Johnny Tower at St. Thomas. It's like a couple coaches you just don't want to bet against just because you don't always have the respect for their rating. I think Maine's one of those teams.
All right, Kai, to you for an ACC showdown of teams that really aren't that relevant. From Nick Sheeran, Notre Dame -4.5 at the Circling the Drain Syracuse Orange. Anything for you?
Yeah, my number says bet Syracuse. I politely said no. I know who's coaching this game. It's Micah Shrewsbury against Red Autry. That's heavy advantage Irish. However, like I said, I think 4.5 is pretty big, so it's a clear stay away. It's a classic gut says no to number.
Yeah, I almost rode my gut and just backed Notre Dame, Kai, because my number also leans to Syracuse. Is like Micah Shrewsbury against Red Autry, laying less than 5. It is the Carrier Dome or JMA Wireless, whatever it is now. So yeah, big battle between gut and number. Matt, we're gonna go one more, and then we'll go back to the outline. And you are an authority on this team. So Mike Zhang and somebody else asked about UMKC. The Ruse, you just won a best bet with them this week in our Discord. They're getting 2 points now at North Dakota. The Fighting Hawks have taken some money. Are you going to hop in on UMKC?
Yeah, I guess I don't know if I guess the concern me is it's an early start after a quick travel. I know it's like they're in the Dakota proper, but still some of these, like any of these summit travels on the quick turnaround, especially if you got early starts, just kind of an awkward spot for the road team. I say because UMKC laid an egg in this like weird early, the Wednesday early schedule spot last week. So I don't know. It's a team I don't really trust fully. I love my Ruse, but I don't fully trust them. It's a toxic relationship. I stayed away. If it goes any higher, I'm probably going to back them. No, I mean, I think a dog at North Dakota who hasn't played any defense in like weeks. It's probably
Yeah, North Dakota gave up like 70 in the first half to South Dakota State this week. I think they're having a lot of trouble.
In
Their
case
only
you're
conference win is over Denver.
In case you're wondering, it's an hour 15 drive from Fargo to Grand Forks, so not a lot
yeah,
of
so it's
traffic.
actually not as bad as I thought. Right. I mean, again, early start. I don't know. Some of those early starts. We just saw UMBC, just weird. I just don't like betting the road teams on those early starts. Just purely anecdotal. Purely
All right,
anecdotal.
Matt, we'll go back to the outline. I've got Northeastern Charleston, Colgate Lafayette, Marshall, Coastal Carolina, et cetera, et cetera. All kinds of games queued up for Chat Mob Part 2. So don't worry, folks. We'll get to them, but back to you, Matt.
All right, we're going to Country Roads, Mr. McKeon, West Virginia, hosting Iowa State, the juggernaut that is. Who knows what the spread would be if West Virginia was at full strength, but we know they are not. It's the Javon Small show and a bunch of solid role players and a really well-coached team. Certainly just the DeVries as a dog thing intrigues me. But I don't know. Iowa State is just, again, one of those teams I just haven't seen much. The weaknesses, the flaws are few and far between. I'm just not going to fade them.
I do really want a quick shout out to Discord because there are a lot of viewers right now, and we appreciate it. But if you'd like to hear our thoughts on betting every single day and not just in a Saturday format, join the Discord. The link is in the description, $6 a month. I think it's a great deal. Okay, back to the regularly scheduled program. Yes, Iowa State, West Virginia. A win here might lock West Virginia for the dance. They've beaten Gonzaga, Arizona, and Kansas already. It's kind of crazy. Matthew, who is the number one home court advantage in KenPom now? It's West Virginia. West Virginia. Yes, they have overtaken Texas Tech in home court advantage on KenPom. That's crazy to me. But Iowa State's kind of a different breed this year. They still might be the best team in the country. They're certainly right there. Even without Momcilovic, I think this team is still amazing. Curtis Jones has been nuts this season. He has just evolved into a totally different player. He's a model of efficiency starting now because Momcilovic is out. I think that's actually kind of a good thing for Iowa State. They're going to live at the line. They'll have an edge in the glass, though it should be kind of a war. West Virginia definitely comes to play, especially at home. I think the clones kind of cause them fits, too, on the other end, Jim. West Virginia's offense, they're so reliant on outside shooting. It's hero ball or kind of nothing for them on the offensive end. Big Javon Small game if they're going to win this game. But Iowa State has excellent guard defenders. At 6, it's kind of a toss-up for me.
Yeah, I'm very much of two minds in this game where, Iowa State's gotten up for 2 straight huge games. Overtime win at Texas Tech, home against Kansas with the crowd going nuts, and they extend late and just kind of have this monster performance. But now you go on the road, a game that might be a little harder to get up for West Virginia, just comparatively between the last two games. And Momcilovic is out to maybe show up a little bit here, the lack of offensive punch. So spot-wise, yeah, leaning West Virginia. But Kai, I love the point about the guard defenders that they can throw it small. He's not going to be able to just feast in the pick and roll. Those guys will fight over screens. Chatfield's actually kind of mobile when he's playing in some of like he's not going to hard hedge, but he can play level of the screen and take away some of the pull-up jumpers. So I wanted to bet West Virginia, but I'm not quite able to do it, Matt. Maybe it's 7. If it got there, I would do it, but I'm not quite able to jump in front of the Iowa State Cyclone train right now.
I might do it. Like, okay, I think this is one game where Milan will be missed. I think the way he can make tough shots, stretch the defense, operate. I just think that DeVries makes you take tough shots, and they have 2 with Jones and Milan. I think you remove one of those, it's going to maybe be tougher. Very well. Curtis Jones is cold. I think they could be in trouble.
Am I unfair for still feeling like West Virginia's a little smoke and mirrors? Like it's a really good coach, but
it just feels impossible to do this good. I agree with you.
Without Tucker, yeah,
it doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah.
I don't know. They got talent. I mean, Small's really good. Hansberry and Akani are kind of like really. I mean, I think they have like legit. I don't think it's deep, but I think their top 6 is still pretty talent.
I just think every single player is playing above their heads, like so much above their heads.
Yep.
Hansberry, come on, that guy is a nobody till this year. Like it's a above your head type of situation. He's playing great.
He was a nobody until this year, Matt. Like you can't
literally. Okani was a mid-major okay player, great defender.
Like Illinois fans were high on both. I remember being high on Sincere Harris, Illinois. I remember being high on Hansberry, Illinois. I mean, he was just overplayed. He had 8 points against he had 8 points against UConn in that meaningless 40-point beat.
Fun fact on Sincere Harris: he always started the year 0 for 24 from 3.
Now he's 4 for 36.
Yeah.
He guards. They all guard. They're all good defenders. The problem is that offensively they all suck. They all play good defense.
Yeah, it's not a cute team, but they do defend. Okay, sorry, I just had to belabor West Virginia there.
Oh yeah, I'm hosting. Where am I? ACC country, Kai. Just across the border there to where the backyard brawl would be located. Pitt is hosting Clemson. Man, the ACC is weird, Kai. I've had a terrible time handicapping this league since it began. At least you have 2 of the good teams, right? You kind of have the mush is tough to handicap. Jim thinks Pitt might be mushy. They have not been playing well. This is a deja vu, Jim. I'll go to you for this one. Last year, where we kind of see a flatlining in conference play after a dominant non-con.
Yeah, I'm very much in is Pitt good? I don't know. I mean, the West Virginia win looks good. That was at home. At Ohio State in OT. Okay, Indiana just won at Ohio State. Are they as good as Indiana? I don't know. I think we're starting to see a little bit of tarnishing of the Pitt non-conference resume. The LSU win, whatever, it's the 15th team in the SEC. And the ACC run has been bad. And Kai, I am tempted to bet Clemson because Clemson has won 12 straight against Pitt. Wow. They are 11-0-1 against the spread in that span.
Smokes.
Jeff Capel has never covered against Brad Brownell.
That's crazy.
It is, it's a complete demolishing one-sided series. I think there's something to that. I know that Pitt's taking a little bit of money at 2.5 out to 4. Wow. I'm pretty tempted to step in on Clemson just with the way Pitt is not. Clemson's just like, they're much more a team of men. Kai, you said it earlier. Pitt's a little younger, thinner. I lean Clemson big time.
Yeah, I mean, hey, feel free to punch back and forth. I took Pitt minus 2.5. So I guess I got ahead of the movement there.
Hey, that's good.
The reason it's put up or shut up time for Pitt. You want to make the dance, you have to win this game. You have 3 straight losses. Your resume is in shambles. You do not look like the team that you did at the beginning of the year. And Clemson's been kind of floating along, but they're clearly top 2-3 in the ACC. They're strong. They're solid enough resume-wise, but not quite locked in maybe. I don't know. The Zoo should be rocking. Can Pitt hold on to the ball? It's weird that they're having struggles holding on to the ball. Can they get their offense going? This is a very good Clemson defense. I am concerned about that as a Pitt backer. And I think Chef could absolutely murder these skinny Pitt bigs inside. That's a huge concern for me. Also worrisome that Pitt doesn't really take away the 3 at a high rate. Still, Matt, I'm going with Spot here. Again, this is a must-win for Pitt. It's hail to Pitt for me at 2.5. 4, I would not lay 4 with Pitt. I would think about looking at Clemson still. Heck, 4.5 out there. Kai might get cute and take 4.5 the other way and hope for a 3 or 4.
You little cutie.
Those are good numbers.
Cutie.
3 and 4. Yeah. The biggest numbers in college basketball, I believe, Matthew.
Yeah, I've actually recent evidence suggests that 4 is I
Very
think a
important, very
sneaky.
key.
We used to think 2, 3, and 5. I think 4 is actually
Mhm.
again based on like the last 4 or 5 seasons. So it's always a moving target. 4 is also a key number, just to note.
Yeah.
I'd like we're talking about what game? I'm already blanking.
Clemson Pitt.
Looking
Clemson
ahead.
Pitt.
I like Pitt. I'm with Kai. It's a spot thing for me. Matchup wise, the fact that Clemson basically plays 3 bigs, I think is kind of a can't exploit Pitt kind of to the whole bully ball, which probably explains why Brownell has had historical success against Capel, similar types of team DNA. And yeah, the Pitt bigs are just thin. They're thin. They miss Federico.
Okay. Yeah, good. I won't best bet Clemson because you guys are both liking Pitt, but that stat of head to head is, oh boy,
Julian Lowe was so bad last game. What was it 2 games ago? Last game?
he's been
I just
bad
think
for
he's
yeah.
yeah, he's due for a good one. Maybe at home. All right, let's go to the SEC. Kai, Georgia hosting the Janai Broomless Auburn Tigers, who are better without question mark. No, they're probably not, but it doesn't really seem to matter. This team's deep. Their guards are terrific. Now again, they go on the road, and we saw they struggled without him. Even they struggled with him at South Carolina on the road, and then certainly couldn't emphatically pull away without him. Georgia's been really good, man. I think they like continuously are a little bit undervalued by the metrics, but they are young. But I think a young team at home, just like we saw with Kentucky, the early start home hype spot. I think that the Bulldogs cover this one. I think it's a close game.
Yeah, I'm against you. I faded Georgia again. I don't think they're
Okay.
bad, but I am sure they're overrated analytically. I actually go against you. I think they're overrated analytically. I took Tennessee last game. No problem. I understand it was close for a while, and Tennessee just smoked them.
So yeah, they're 40th right now. I think they're fringe top
37.
25-ish.
Yeah.
So
No way. Yeah, I test. No, this team is very fortunate. I think they're okay, but they're not a team that makes you feel warm and fuzzy. Now at home they're very good, and they get a friendly whistle at home. That is a real thing, especially against Kentucky. Auburn's a wrecking machine, even without Broom. They smoked Mississippi State. He matters a lot. 4 points. Ken Palm's got a 10. This line's 6. I don't know if Broom is worth 4 to this Auburn team. I think he would be worth that to a lot of teams in the country. But this Auburn team has Cardwell, who Pearl says is the best defender in the country, and I'm kind of starting to believe that. He's a monster. This guard group's awesome. Matt mentioned Chaney Johnson's been awesome for them. It's going to be hard for Georgia to score. Again, watch that whistle. I liked Auburn at -6, Jim. I took some Auburn -6.
Yeah, Chaney Johnson stepped in the starting lineup, had 17, 8, and 4 blocks.
He's
against
awesome.
Mississippi State, a good team. Yeah. He's a freak athlete. He had a dunk against South Carolina that like got me out of my chair. Yeah, but the situation here, younger team, much better at home, where Auburn
Much
is
better.
way better at home too. Like the jungle is a real thing too. So flopping that where now Auburn's on the road, and this is arguably the biggest home game in Georgia basketball history. Number one team in town. I don't know. I'm going to stay away, Matt. I think I see a little bit of benefit for both sides. I still think Auburn is a buzzsaw, but I don't like the situation in spot for him.
yeah, I mean Auburn home juggernaut, Auburn road elite but not invincible. Lost at Duke, barely. Or guessing the Texas game they were dominating.
Duke.
That's right, it's Duke.
How dare they lose at Duke? How dare
Did
they?
not cover at Duke, for the record. Did not cover at Texas. I know they were big in that game. Still did not cover. And then the South Carolina game, we just saw. So
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
know.
a
I wouldn't be
concern.
terrified to fade Auburn, I guess is my take. Although generally betting against the elite teams has been a stupid endeavor to me. Speaking of,
Auburn was up 20 against Texas, to be fair.
yeah, sometimes they're killing us, but
Yeah.
still results based didn't cover. Results based, Kai. Not about
Results
process
based,
here. It's about
yes.
results. Jim, last one. We have I hope a pretty big round 2 of chat mobster inquiries. UConn hosting Creighton. Big injury question mark here. Liam McNeely's status. We
out.
talked about. We've seen UConn look much more mortal without either Caravan or McNeely. I think when they have both, they're both so key on both ends. They don't have a ton of depth of shooting, and their offense needs their gravity and even their creation ability to score efficiently in all that myriad of sets. It did feel like a big number though. I kind of lean Creighton on the number, Jimbo. What do you think?
Yeah, if McNeely was playing, I'd probably be on UConn here. But
Minus 7.5.
without
Sorry,
him,
just to clarify. 7.5.
without him, 7.5 is mostly a stay away number for me. UConn doesn't have any pick and pop big man that can pull Kalkbrenner away. I think that's like the subliminal or subtle hole of their defense. UT Rio Grande Valley really took advantage of that in the early going in the season.
Like Carlos.
But not a lot of teams have that. So it's hard to like really call that a flaw for Creighton. Kalkbrenner is just such a monster around the rim. I know a couple of the UConn fans and Creighton fans in the Discord have talked about how it's been a lot of close games between these two. That's especially true in Omaha. Kai, this one is probably a sit out for me. Without McNeely, a tilt towards the under. Just to take away one more sniper threat in the offensive end. And again, Kalkbrenner patrolling the rim. And Creighton doesn't really get to the line all that much. They're not going to take advantage of all the UConn fouling. So lean to the under, but I did not bet it.
Yeah, I agree with you. If McNeely was in, I would be on UConn. It sounds like he's out. I think he matters a ton for this team. Even McDermott said he thought McNeely was enormous for UConn. I think Kalk will get Reed and or Samson Johnson in foul trouble. I think that is a real possibility and a concern for UConn. It won't be the other way around. Kalk will be fine. Yeah, but Creighton's offense, they rely on shooting, and UConn certainly due for some shooting regression. They're 7th in the country in three-point attempt rate allowed. They're 352nd three-point percentage allowed. It's a big spread. UConn's game planning, of course, is top-notch, elite. They know Creighton can shoot, and that's about it. I think they're going to take that away as much as they can. UConn's offense, though, I guess it is good without McNeely right now because Caravan is so good. Maybe and Solo Ball is really coming into his own with higher usage. I just think 7.5 is too much. I think these teams are much closer together without McNeely. Matthew, you're on mute.
You're muted, Matt. There you go.
Chat Mob round 2. Oh, I had no take on this game. Sorry.
None.
None. I think the spread's perfect.
All right, Matt.
Perfect.
Well, hopefully you have a take on this game then from Chat Mob from John Hudak. Northeastern at Charleston. The Cougars laying 7 last I checked. I don't know, man. Northeastern feels like they're on the retirement tour for Bill Cohen, but Charleston's been they covered last game, but it was by the hair of their chinny chin chin late. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought Northeastern started to look pretty good, and then they've lost 3 or 4 and barely squeaked by Stony Brook. Again, injuries have kind of hurt this team. I know Troutman came back the last 2, but they just have no rotational continuity. It's been a big issue for Cohen the last 3 years. It's partly why they're just not very good. I think they're back in that kind of don't touch them unless you see some evidence mode, so pass for me.
Yeah, defense is not as good without Kermery around the rim. Again, not like a huge. Oh no, Kermery's not the guy I'm thinking of.
Kermery's the shooter, I think, or whatever. No, there's too many guys.
Metcalf is the big guy. My mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, Kermery has hurt them, not having his spacing. Kai, your question is from Nash 2. Marshall at Coastal Carolina in the Sun Belt. Marshall just came up short in a near comeback at James Madison. Coastal, not very good. What do you think?
Yeah, my number says Coastal Carolina. I passed. I'm tired of betting on this team, so no thanks. I think my number's wrong, so I'm just staying away. Why catch a falling knife? That's Coastal Carolina right now.
Yep. Another one from Nash 2 is a third best bet on the show for me, and that is Colgate on the road at Lafayette. Again, I stubbornly still think this Colgate team is undervalued because they played so much in non-conference without Jeff Woodward, and I'm shocked the market isn't really leaning into how good the Raiders can be in league play. Now, Jalen Cox is a question mark. He missed last game. Big-time guard for them. I don't know his status because it is not widely reported, but -1 at Lafayette, I still think is an okay spot for Colgate. Maddie, I'm taking Colgate -1. Any thoughts quick?
No, I like your point though. Yeah, Woodward's a beast. Okay. He's like the last remnant of the old Colgate guard that was the dominant team there for years.
And he basically plays point guard once they're in the half court. They play through him. So it negates the Cox loss a little bit if Cox is out. If Cox is in, then I really like this. Okay. Matthew, to you for Radford -3.5 at Charleston Southern from Nicholas Sheeran. Do you have any thoughts on the Highlanders?
I kind of lean Radford. I know I've been a big Chuck South guy. Simley's my boy, Kai, but I lean Radford here. I think I've had them playing to a really high number. So
I like you portmanteauing Saad Nimley into Simley.
Saad Nimley. Simley. Yeah, thank you. Saad Nimley, thank you. Simley. That was good. No, that was intended for sure. Yep.
Good.
Definitely intentional.
All right. Kai, from Chris R, a question a game you might have an opinion on. It is the Arkansas Razorbacks going to Columbia, Missouri to take on the Missouri Tigers. Yeah. I'm trying to find the most current spread. It is Missouri -6. What say you?
I think it's a good line. Jim. I would lean towards Arkansas if you had to tell me who to play in that one. Maybe that's my Mizzou fan bias. I get nervous off that big win against Florida. Coming back home, though, it's going to be a ruckus crowd. That's for sure. But Arkansas is in desperation mode. I think 0-4 in the SEC. 6 points is a lot. This team is still, by pedigree, quite talented. So I would lean towards Arkansas or nothing. But again, this is right around where I made it. I made it around 5. So no strong takes.
Yeah, I lean to Arkansas too, but I haven't gotten the Mizzou game right in a long time. But yeah, Arkansas's had their back against the wall for a couple games now, and they haven't
True.
stood up and made it. But Mizzou off the road win at Florida, you could just see it not having the same like fire to them. We've seen them a couple games, Kyle, look really, really fiery, and hopefully they have it today. Go pig
Yeah, I can see
hunting.
Arkansas being like really hyped for this game and like playing really well, like just annoyingly well. Like, oh, okay, there you go. Now you
Does
show up
this
today
team get
against a sort
hyped?
of
That's my only question. Like,
Do
they
they
just don't
like
seem
each
like they
other?
like each other.
Yeah.
yeah, it's true.
All right, Matt, to you for a Mountain West question from Drake Capel. Colorado State is headed to Wyoming. Mr. Medved and the boys now up to 5 across the market, laying 5 at Wyoming. What do you think?
Yeah, I lean toward the Rams here. I just Wyoming got absolutely blitzed by Boise. I know we like Sundance Wicks, but I don't know. I think they're going to see some like lopsided losses for Wyoming. I think today might be one of those two. They'll have some randomly good games, and then like kind of like Air Force where they're just not in it. It just gets real ugly real quick. I think one of those. This is one of those games today. I would lean Rams pretty hard. I did not bet it though. Did not bet it.
All right, well, next question is from Dom Z and Kai. You won't believe it is best bet number 4 for old
Oh
Jimbo
my
of the
gosh.
show.
Goodness.
Elon, Delaware. I am riding Elon again. I like them this week. It's a pick 'em. They've got both Simpkins healthy, TJ and TK. Sam Sherry's playing well up front. They've still got Big 7-4 Matt Coleman in the paint, taking things away. Delaware is a step down in talent from the typical Inglesby team. I like this kind of upward trend we're going to get out of Elon with the roster fully healthy. So Elon, pick best bet number 4 for me. I believe that's all I'll have, unless you guys talk me into something here, you or the chat. But they hit on all the ones I wanted to mention. So all 4 best bets already mentioned. Kai, to you for the Battle of George in the
Uh,
A10. George Washington headed to George Mason. Recall that George Mason is off a massive win at Dayton. This spread right now is 9. George Mason laying 9 at home.
it feels a little high, just given how George Washington has shot and maybe gotten a little bit lucky over the past couple games. I do not believe George Washington is a borderline top 100 team. They are way too high in analytics, and yet still a 9-point dog to Mason, who is good, but also, again, I don't really believe how high they are. Both these teams are basically above their heads in analytics. Lean towards George Washington slightly.
Yeah, I took G-Dub.
Yeah.
I did. Mason has not been
Yeah.
like they don't blow teams away. They're defensively they're awesome, but like I don't know, they haven't like they couldn't extend against Richmond, they couldn't extend against UMass. I was playing better, but
They just
still.
beat Dayton, didn't they? Is that the game they
Yeah, but like as a favorite, I'm saying at home as a favorite. Like I just don't think they
Yep.
put teams they
Yeah.
should put away, and G-Dub I think is in that same spot today.
That's the way I feel, man. I don't love him as a big home favorite. Whether you think 9 is a big spread or not, I would
Mount
lean
St. Mary's they
GW.
beat by 8. Like okay.
Yeah. Maddie, Duke is a 23-point road favorite in a conference game. 23-point road favorite. They're laying 23 at Boston College. What do you think with your Blue Devils? Do we just ride them in the ACC for forever?
These spreads are this is what these spreads are just so high. It's like you're just betting into like variance. I think like
Yeah.
how much does Duke care? How much is Shire tinkering with rotations when you get to like the 20 or 30 range? We'll see how much no Malik Brown matters. No one's talking about that. For
Against
Duke.
Boston College, it
Probably
won't.
won't matter. Probably not a game that comes back to bite you here if you're a Duke backer. But I get the only note of this game. Don't bet this game. I don't have any take.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I almost think it's like McNeese in the Southland. Just if you bet him every game against
last
the
game
spread,
Miami, right? I said the same thing, and like, okay, no, Duke by a million. So
yeah. And they were up 18 against Notre Dame. That even though it was an 18-point or an 8-point win, it was 18 with like 4 minutes left. They controlled that one.
and
So
there'll be
that's the
more Duke
variance you're
fans in
talking
this
about.
game too, right? Probably more Duke fans here. I guess
Yeah.
students are back. Maybe BC fans show up for this. Who knows?
Kai, any total take in the Ivy on Yale at Columbia? Steven took the over 152.5, and he's looking for some confirmation on his
Oh,
notion there.
Gosh, no, I don't think so. I'd be no. I don't lean towards the over or the under, I suppose. I do lean towards Columbia though. I took a really bad number. It's up to 8.5 now. I think Columbia
Holy.
can keep it close.
8.5 is wild,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Yale's really good, but I think this is kind of Columbia's get up here and
Yep.
home dogs there. Yep. I would lean towards Columbia. I'm just checking what my number is on the total. Yeah, I don't have a real strong lean on total either. Matt, back to you for Florida's bounce back spot after the Mizzou loss. They're at home against Texas. No Kendall Weaver, an all glue team type of player. Florida, do they just get a big blowout? We have our attention type of bounce back, get right game?
I think so. Again, I've been a little bit slow to adjust my Florida numbers, so it's just a big number to lay. Texas is really talented, um, and they were playing actually a little bit better. Honestly, I think they can actually keep this game competitive. But again, I'm not getting in the way of the Florida team. I think it's a great spot for them.
Yeah, actually, it's 11, 10 and a half, Matt. So I'm not sure there's a lot of steam on Florida right now. Circle line hasn't moved.
Oh yeah, it's come back
So
down. Wow, I thought it's open to 11. Now it's down. Huh. Huh.
yeah. So I don't know. I just don't think Texas is all that good. Florida in a bounce back. I prefer that. Okay, Matt, actually going right back to you because you're the
Good.
Beaver Whisperer. You can take that name
That's what his
as
girlfriends called him too in high school.
that's I was gonna let Kai run with that one. But
No
Helms has a
comment.
question about the total in San Francisco and Oregon State. I know you mentioned Newberry's impact on San Francisco's defense. Oregon State plays some zones off the big win. What do you think?
Yeah, they haven't really guarded. Neither team's actually guarded that well. Kind of like the over just from that angle, but I don't like betting Oregon State overs because the way Tinkle can adjust defenses, the pace can change on a dime, and then he can suffocate teams into scoring droughts with kind of his curveballs. Kai, I lean Oregon State though. Everyone's like betting San Francisco on the spot, which is like the all-time spot for San Francisco,
Yeah.
right? I don't think they've been as impressive, and I think Oregon State's very good. I'm like very in on this Oregon State team as like a real entity and not like as a sell high. I'm not saying they're a buy at this point, but they're definitely not like a sell, sell, sell. I think you could buy and fade them equally the rest of the year and probably be okay.
All right, Kai, in the A10, Davidson is headed to Rhode Island. Rhode Island has not looked all that good while shorthanded without David Green, but they are laying 2.5 against the Wildcats.
Yeah, that's a complete stay away from me, Jim. I got nothing in this game, to be frank. I bet Davidson a lot this year, but number couldn't get there today, whatever.
Yep, I don't have any overly great impact either. Sean Logan's still out, the big shot blocker for Davidson. I would like to see him back in there. Matt, Miami, Florida, circling the drain. I keep calling them the simulate the season team. They are a home dog of 5 points against SMU today. I just immediately want to bet SMU's team total with the pace they like to play at. Tell me why that's crazy.
No, I agree. They go and they're bananas fast. Like I think SMU is like in the
If a team
I
allows
don't know.
them to play fast, yes.
They're going. And like Enfield's like really embracing it. I think he's like using it as part of a marketing ploy for his program for recruiting going forward. But it's been effective and they actually can disrupt and get some turnovers to help generate some more pace. I like that, Gem. I kind of like I almost laid it with SMU here too. It's an insane number just from how we usually are prone to handicapping here, laying 6 on the road at Miami, a talented team still, but I think Miami's just they're a way white flag team at this point.
Yeah, they're horrific. They're 4-13 overall. Like it's not like they're just having a rough go of it in league play. They were awful in non-con. They remain awful. SMU's coming off the Virginia slog, so I think they'll be even more willing to slingshot the pace and lean favorite. I think SMU scores 90. Okay, a few more. Getting down to the wire here. Kai, in the MVC, Belmont is -6 at Evansville, but Patrick James specifically asked about the under 145 in this game. We know Evansville is one of your lopsided lovelies.
They
So
are.
is that an angle for you?
Yeah, much better on defense and offense. Their offense is atrocious. Belmont can really score though. I have no take on the total or the side, to be honest. Evansville's weirdly tough in the Valley because of that defense. I don't trust Belmont laying 6 on the road either. So stayed away.
All right, Matt, in the Big East, Marquette -10 against Xavier at home. This is at the Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. There's some 9.5 out there too. Any interest for you in this game, either side?
Uh, Wait, Milwaukee brought no, you're sorry, I'm thinking Milwaukee Rotten Worse. That's tomorrow. Why am I looking at the Sunday slate here, man? Uh, Xavier Marquette. Is that what you just asked about, Jim? What did you just ask
Yes.
about?
Xavier
Yes,
Marquette.
okay, sorry.
Yes.
I'm just done Horizon Ball, baby. I'm dialing the
Yeah,
Horizon
you're just
Ball.
dialed in, man.
I like Marquette here. I know Xavier's been playing better. Like, is the Fremantle version of this team starting to kind of come into form? A couple good efforts kind of you back against Villanova at home, but on the road at Marquette,
Got lucky.
who I know hasn't been as good off that DePaul close call, but I still think I just think it's a Marquette spot for me. Marquette home spot.
Fair enough. I
Xavier
have
does
nothing
not
there.
pass the eye test.
Yeah, a
You
little my
watched the
turn,
St.
your
John's
turn
game?
to
St.
them.
John's game was bad. Sam was a
I
bad
watched
game
the
to watch
Villanova
here.
game too, and I was like, I just got
Ooh.
really lucky that Xavier covered. Really lucky.
Yes, I would agree there. I was on that as well, Kai, with you. Okay. Chat asked if I am still obsessed with Queens. I should be. They've covered 8 of their last 9. They've been a complete juggernaut after I kind of not wrote them off, but was like, okay, I'll adjust my number to the market. I'm clearly wrong to be high on them, but they're rolling. They're getting 5 points at Florida Gulf Coast. I certainly lean towards Queens staying hot. I always thought like pretty decent talent, pretty good coach, and that's really coming to fruition. So I do lean Queens in Fort Myers. Kai and the Mac. Actually, no, Matt's our Mac guy, Matty Mac.
Yeah.
Miami of Ohio's played a soft Mac schedule so far. Now they go to Kent State. Kent State laying 5. They've taken a little bit of money. What do you think?
Yeah, I know this is like you should just back Kent State here, but I kind of like Miami. This team's good.
You knew it.
Yeah,
You
I'm
knew
gonna key
it.
here. Yeah, I think this is a league where I just watched Akron beat the absolute piss out of Ohio.
They rock.
And I'm just like, I'm rethinking everything I thought about this league. And so I'm just like, ignore what I thought about Kent State preseason. I watched both these teams play. Miami's a better team. So again, we'll see if their physicality gets exposed. But Kent State's not been very physical. They just give it like their defense has been bad. So I don't know. I like the Red Hawks here. Call me crazy. Call me crazy.
I won't call you crazy
you're a
because it
little
will
crazy.
piss off Corp in the chat when we degrade you. He doesn't like it. Okay, last one from John Hudak. Wake Forest -3.5 at Virginia Tech. Kai, I like Wake. I think they have kind of found it a little bit, and Virginia Tech isn't very good, but it is also kind of a crazy-ish number based on our handicapping.
Yeah, the opener was 5.5, and I was like, boy, Virginia Tech, I should probably bet them. I'm like, I don't want to bet Virginia Tech. No thanks. I think they really, really suck. They've taken money. 3.5 now. I certainly would not back them at 3.5. I don't trust Wake on the road. It's an easy stay away. Almost a thank you to the market for taking me off Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I don't want to be on them. Yeah, not trusting Wake on the road is a time-honored tradition the last couple of years. Although they won by 10 at Syracuse, they won by 10 at Miami. Both those are orange teams that are terrible. This is the third straight sub 120 ACC road game they're playing.
Yeah.
See if they can get it
They're
done
like
again.
160 right now, aren't they, Virginia Tech? It's
162.
brutal.
Yeah, you've got 201 BC, 128 Syracuse, 150 Miami,
201.
162 Virginia Tech, 138 Cal, 137 Virginia. That league is
Not a good team.
garbaggio. Yep. I believe that is it for the chat portion of the program. I'll recap my 4 best bets while you guys circle up. I've got Texas Tech -4, Arizona State plus 10.5. That is without Joseph Sandin. I'm okay with that. I think the Cincy offense is just problematic enough to be getting double digits there. Works for me. Elon Pick'em and Colgate -1. Matthew, what are your best bet? Parentheses S. Best bets.
All right, I got a 4 as well, Jim. So I'm going FIU, the Vice City Panthers at home. They got a big V back. I can't pronounce it. Vianney something. Important dude, rim protector. Just a really good spot here. Just a vintage home spot. FIU at home much better than they are on the road. Plus 2.5. Utah Tech rivalry game. 13
I
and a
like
half.
this spot a lot, Matt. Yep.
Utah Valley coming back from that crazy overtime win at UT Arlington.
Yep.
I should have lost that game, frankly.
Are they rivals?
And this, yeah, it's a rivalry. I know. Sorry, I forget
That's
yeah,
Southern
they are
Utah.
rivals.
Southern
The answer is
Utah, right?
Tech and Southern Utah are much bigger rivals. Yeah.
But yeah, the travel's like actually easier for the road team here. I don't think there's a ton of home, and Utah Tech can be feisty. I think they've been playing a little better. They're not as downtrodden as I think the market portrays them. I'm going Murray at home. The Racers against Bradley. You mentioned this earlier. I'm just not a huge fan of this Bradley team, and Murray's really good. Like that, I think their A game is maybe the best in this conference. The question is what Murray shows up today. At home, I think their lack of depth won't be as exposed. St. Mary's, Kai, laying 2 touchdowns on the road at Pepperdine. Gales, just kind of Gales in that sort of no one talks about them for a month, and they've just beaten 20 or 10 teams in a row by 30. And it's like, oh, wow, look at St. Mary's. I think I'm going to catch one of those St. Mary's no covert spots today. And then the last one, Grand Slam swing, UC Riverside plus 350.
Is this 5 or 4?
5.
5. Love it.
4,
Yeah.
bonus Matty Moneyline sprinkle. Half unit risk here. I'll put this in the Discord cheat sheet. Make sure you join. We're posting best bets every day with our track record posted, folks. You're not joining. Sign up today. Link in the description. UC Riverside plus 350 money line. UC San Diego is amazing. Just think you're catching them at a pretty good spot here with my Highlanders. Maybe catching them off guard here. Just one of those rise to the occasion. We've seen Magpeo do this, right? One at Colorado State for crying out loud. I know they've had some bad games, but still, I like the Highlanders, Jim. That's my 4+1. Kai.
Love it. Well, before Kai goes, I just want to make sure Matt knows that he's going against one of Bet Rhythm's best bets of the day. 63% Pepperdine per Jeff Goodman.
Oh,
so
good.
You're head to head with the algorithm there. All right, Kai, what do you got?
Heavier then.
Yeah, I'm sticking with UMass Lowell plus 4.5. as my best bet. I feel like a squid when you guys are betting 9 best bets and I'm betting 1, but that's how it is. The plays I like the
You
most.
are a little squid. I see your tentacles.
I'm not to low key Brad, but the plays I like the most have moved 1.5, 2 points from what I got them at. So I'm staying away from the rest. I'm not taking bad numbers, the best bets. No thanks.
All right, fair enough. Okay, real quick, you each get one bonus game. Matt, Seton Hall, St. John's. Anything on that game in the Big East? Ted Spencer asked.
I kind of lean St. John's, but man,
Nine,
they're
late
up
9 on the
against it.
road. No Davon Smith again.
And I think Wusu in a potential revenge game might be out as well. They had a flu or a norovirus thing. They had guys on IVs. So I don't know. Maybe okay, fine. I pass. I was going to lean Seton Hall, but I'm going to pass. I just the flu thing scares me. The sickness thing scares me.
Okay, and then Kai, we had a quick question from Nolesman on Vandy, Tennessee. That game actually almost made the outline. Tennessee on the road, in-state rivalry game. I actually don't have the line pulled up in front of me,
5.5.
but you have an opinion.
5.5. Lean Tennessee. They're that good.
Yeah, I agree.
Towards Tennessee. Yep.
Yeah, I think Vandy is not a step up in class type of roster. I think they're solid teams in their level, but not a step up in class. Okay, that is it. Matt, you want to close this down, Mr. Host?
Good luck to with all your wagers, folks. Again, check out the subscription. Check out the subscription, and after you've done that, please sign up. And after you've done that, go back in, and after you've done that, subscribe to the videos. You have 3 to-dos before you sign up. You have to sign up for the Discord if you're not already in there. You have to like this video, and you have to subscribe to our channel. All 3 of those are good for us, which is good for you. Mr. McKeon, Mr. Root, Mr. Cox signing off today. We will be back same time next week. Spinny Saturdays continues. Good luck today, folks.